Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we're building a modest farmhouse in the Highlands using no mods. The requirements for this build are on screen now. It's a pretty simple design that uses a few different DLC pieces, though you could substitute pretty much anything. So without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, I started off with, of course, the baseplate. I mounted the baseplate onto ceilings to get a better idea of the scale, as I was still building from my mind at this point, and I used the pillar trick to offset the back left 2x3 as shown in the blueprint. From there, I used ceilings and pillars to build out the rest of the baseplate to match the blueprint I showed you earlier. When the ceilings were in place, I covered the gaps underneath with Nemedian walls. I then built a one-tile front perimeter of ceilings to hold a porch area, which I fenced underneath with Nemedian fence foundations to create a bit of contrast. There was an extra extension that I showed you on the blueprint, which you'll see later on. Next, I moved on to the ground floor walls. This was fairly simple. I used Nemedian walls to build up 2 tiles high, leaving gaps at semi-regular intervals to include both regular and real windows. I also included a doorway to connect the main building to the half-snap 2x3, onto which I also later built walls, though only a single tile high with a roof gable. Next for the porch covering. I removed some of the fence foundations, as I'll be using the pillar trick to give this covering visual support, though if it's easier for you, you can just use awnings. I used stable pillars at regular intervals on the corners, and then built ceilings above the ground level of the porch. I replaced the fence foundations, and then used flotsam fences to cover the edges of the porch. Next, the first floor walls. I swapped to insulated wood as I'm aiming for a rustic feeling here. I built regular windows on the front and right side, though I would later remove those front windows and then build the walls 1 tile high. I then built a staircase to connect the ground floor to the first, using Nemedian regular and vaulted ceilings to construct the first floor interior and to give the ground floor a little extra shape. I then moved on to the roof mounts. I used regular and inverted sloping sides to create a stepped gable over the staircase segment, and then built open gables on the other sides. I then used Nemedian ceilings to build a roof support structure, which did require a pillar near the stairs, though this can be moved into a better position later on. I used the support from that structure to close off the staircase gables. I then removed the front windows as I mentioned earlier and placed Nemedian rooftop pieces onto the porch cover. I then placed a real window 1 tile higher than it was previously on the front facing gable. Next, the roofing. I stuck with the theme, using Nemedian roof pieces to follow the gables I'd already set up. This was an incredibly simple affair, covering the gaps until the roofs were complete, topping off the main roof with rooftop pieces and a spiked intersection. Lastly, back inside, I moved that support pillar back a single tile to sit in the centre of the staircase, which flows a lot better. I then fenced off the internal staircase balcony, added a door to the shed at the back side, and used Nemedian doors to close off the build. Finally, when the shelter build was done, it was then time to of course furnish. The front of the farmhouse remains mostly the same, save for a small and simple extension to the porch. I added some seating on that extension, and also placed some of the new Zamorian lighting options which were gifted to me by Funcom, and I am hoping to review them pretty soon. Entering the build, I've tried to keep that rustic consistency, relying heavily on wood and stone. The ground floor is a pretty expansive area with a dining area up front near the fireplace, decorative displays around the floor, and of course a small kitchenette at the rear which is divided by countertops. I also added some wolf paw decals to the table, which I haven't tried before but does actually work pretty nicely. Through the open doorway to the shed, this is sort of a workshop for small crafting projects with rear access to the house. Upstairs is the bedroom, which is actually pretty luxurious, though still fits with the rustic theme. The bed is elevated by stage pieces and there is some seating and storage dotted around. On the western side of the room is a wardrobe door from Aquilonian Secret Passages, used to conceal a small walk-in wardrobe containing more storage and various outfits. And there we have it, a rustic and cosy farmhouse in the Highlands. Thanks for watching. The finale of Season 3 of Settlers drops this Friday. If you're up to date thus far, you're in for a dark and macabre conclusion. But if you've missed this season, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment so you can catch up before the final episode drops this Friday. As always, a massive thank you to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.